Hush. The Best Words podcast is filmed in front of a live studio audience.
Okay, sit back.
What?
And I'll just talk, just to have a conversation between
I'm
you two.
trying to have a conversation.
With you instead of me.
I was born into this life.
It was a warm summer day. Father just left to pick up potatoes.
It's a warm summer day, just like any other day.
Would you like a flashback 3 weeks or 3 hours from now when you were alive?
Okay, it's not really...
We just pulled the entire desk this way.
Okay, keep...
Right?
I'm kidding, Sam.
You got it, Sam. Use your muscles. Go. Go. I mean,
We're not on carpet, so it's not impossible.
in a wheeled chair, it's not going to be as easy.
You broke it. Shit's busted.
Are you still listening to us? Probably.
It's
Maybe.
giving a minute, it's still talking.
This is muted. Does that matter?
It's not muted.
It's not muted.
You dumb.
Sean, I'll kill you.
Don't be dumb.
And now it's muted. Okay, so you need to talk louder.
I don't want to talk loud.
Especially because you're sitting back. Like, that's why
Both
I'm
of us are
that's why
coming
I'm
in
sitting
pretty
up.
clear.
Yeah, you don't want to sound like Fat Kermit anymore, do you?
I'm always going to sound like Fat Kermit.
I'm coming in really well, so keep talking.
Okay.
I
That's
just don't
fine.
want it.
The Krusty Krab pizza
If I
is
talk,
the
people
pizza
are just going to
that
think
you
that I'm
and
Fat
me.
Kermit.
Krusty Krab pizza is the
Perfect.
pizza.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And we're live. So
Hi.
How's it going?
we're just this is how we're doing this intro.
Yeah.
It's just awkward. Everybody be quiet.
What?
Okay, good.
The intros
Okay.
that have the music are probably going to be me. Sam wants to upload this
It's
directly
really
to YouTube,
quiet,
which is
but
fine.
It's like this is like an intimate space since we're all sitting right here.
It is.
Yeah.
It's because Q is in town.
Yeah, you'll notice that we're all on the same microphone, or you won't.
It's beautiful.
You love it here. You moving back?
No, never.
Well, we're here today to discuss the.
Much like the movie that we're talking about today, I'll continue living up in the Pacific Northwest solo.
Wait,
But you're not.
you have a wife.
and you
It's
have
not-
roommates. And
You
dogs.
ruined it.
Animals.
Yes.
Talking
I was
about-
by myself.
We're talking about Solo.
I mean,
A
no,
Star
fly
Wars
up
story.
there solo.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what you should have made.
Yeah.
Wow.
That one.
That's ruined. Anyway.
We're talking about Solo, a Star Wars story. I wouldn't say highly anticipated. I would say it definitely was one of those, like,
The
I
movie,
saw it.
The
Okay,
movie that
that's
trudged
fair.
along and eventually came out.
I
Yeah.
think before Rogue One came out, I think it was less anticipated, but then after Rogue One, it was a little bit more. Not like Star Wars main story level of anticipation, but I think people are giving it more of a shot after Rogue One, personally.
Really?
Yeah.
I was giving it more of a shot until I saw who they were casting for Han. And then I was like,
This is a totally different person.
That said, I will say that he was better in the movie than I expected him to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
So, overall, I guess, and Brian, you have the most extensive knowledge as far as the extended universe, or what was the extended universe is now Legacy.
Extended universe doesn't matter anymore.
Well, yeah, but
all
I'm
dead.
saying, but you have all regular page like movie goers only have a Han from episode
1 through 4.
No.
4 through
4 through 7.
7. Spoiler.
Spoiler alert, Han dies.
Right.
Spoiler
Yeah,
alert,
I mean-
Chewie doesn't die.
Eventually, everybody
In
dies.
case you didn't know, Chewie doesn't die in this movie.
Oh yeah, sorry to disappoint all you Chewie haters. But you have
Did you not see the trailer? They definitely made it out like
the trailer
Chewie
made it
was gonna
seem
die
like
in
he
the
was
movie.
gonna die in a scene. That part where he's hanging off the train. He was
I
like, no.
didn't have to watch that because I don't remember.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So you have the most extensive knowledge. So I'm gonna ask you stuff as it comes along.
Yes, we
But-
want to know your opinion.
My
But
opinion
overall,
is
how does his origin here compare to
It's not as good. Is
the
it?
no, it's
books?
not. It's not that it's bad. It's just that like in the expanded universe, you got a ton of books about it.
Mhm.
Like there was the Solo trilogy, which covered everything that like happened between 3 and 4,
Mm-hmm.
and then you had a whole bunch of other books on top of that.
Uh-huh.
But like,
Did they draw inspiration from that at all?
I mean, kinda like he was from Corellia.
The
That's
Maw.
kind of where it ends.
Oh,
The
okay.
Maw. They did mention the Maw.
They
The
didn't,
Kessel Run.
They didn't. The Kessel Run existed.
Still don't.
Though I think the Kessel Run in the books was way better because, like in the books, he didn't ever actually finish the Kessel Run.
Uh-huh.
Like he still touted that he did it in like 12 parsecs, but in it he got boarded by the Empire and he had to drop his cargo, so he never actually finished the run.
Interesting. Okay.
But that was, I mean, that's neither here nor there. It doesn't
Gotcha.
really matter.
Um,
Also, Dengar was a big part of his backstory, and Dengar doesn't
Really?
even exist in this.
Okay.
Yeah, because, like, Dengar's backstory is that he got scarred in a race with Han, and that's why he has this huge vendetta against him.
I
Interesting.
could see that.
Because they both grew up on Corellia.
Okay. Well, let's get into the movie. Opening scene.
Wait. That sounds more interesting than what we saw.
Well,
Can we talk about that?
That's fine. No. Okay.
They did mention Bosk at one point. I was kind of excited about
Did
that until he didn't show up.
Oh.
Yeah, because they were talking like, you couldn't get somebody else for this job.
Oh yeah,
like
they
Bosk?
mentioned Bosk. Yeah.
I was like, that would have been cool. I like Bosk.
The intro scene wasn't terrible.
We didn't even see Boba Fett in the movie.
That's fine.
Come on.
Why would you see Boba Fett?
Why
Boba Fett.
wouldn't you see Boba Fett? Boba Fett and Han have like this huge backstory.
Babelfett.
I never got that watching the original trilogy.
well, in the
Bumblefett.
books, they definitely have a whole
I
lot
know,
of
but if you
backstory.
look at the original trilogy, I don't really see a
On
connection.
top of the fact that Boba Fett was a regular hired gun for Jabba, and Jabba was a huge part of his backstory.
and that could lead up to Han too. I mean,
Blubberfett.
Solo too.
Yeah, it's possible.
Not that they're
Most
gonna make
likely,
it.
Jabba's going to show up if they do another movie.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yes.
continuing.
So, the intro scene wasn't terrible.
No.
The chase scene was kind of meh.
yeah,
Like,
it was there.
It was there.
I liked.
The creature, the chick, the
The worm thing.
worm thing looked cool.
Proxima.
Yeah,
Proxima.
Proxima.
How they kept saying her name every fucking 5 seconds at the beginning of the goddamn movie.
Proxima.
I will remember that
I didn't.
forever.
I didn't. She looked cool.
Meanwhile, the other people that died off, like, who were you? I don't even remember.
Right.
Yeah.
Um,
Who were you?
so
yeah, Proxima was interesting.
yeah, so they get to the airport and they bribe their way in, which was kind of cool. Like you never really see that kind of thing work out.
It was kind of a bummer because they built it up like he was going to be serving Proxima throughout the movie,
Yeah.
which would have been kind of cool because it's like he had this whole thing with Jabba throughout the movie, so
Uh-huh.
it would have made sense to kind of parrot that.
Yeah.
But instead, they're just like, never mind.
He got away, and what's her name?
Kira?
Kira. Death Note.
Yeah,
Kira.
Death Note Kira.
She gets captured really stupidly.
Yeah.
Like, just 2 goons grab her, and they're like, "You're ours now."
But nobody's on the other side of the fence to
Yeah,
be
like, oh, you already through. We'll wash our
Yeah.
hands.
Bye.
Of this. You're free.
This one
Obviously,
we
you
got.
only keep your security on the side that's going through the gate, not the other side of the gate.
Right.
Yeah.
That would make too much sense.
So then he's
It's like
Yeah.
America, you don't put guards on both sides of the border. Come on.
So then he decides to join the
Spaceport.
rebels, or not the rebels,
The Empire.
The Empire.
The Imperials.
So does he get his name from someone else in the EU?
Not that I remember.
That was so
that was
stupid.
that was really weird.
That was a really stupid origin for his name.
I didn't appreciate that choice.
But they were like, what's your last name?
I don't
I don't have a last name. Oh, well, I guess you're going solo.
Right?
Han Solo.
Dumb.
Hilarious.
Even though we didn't get to see much of it, I kind of liked the battlefield scene.
How it was
Afterwards,
like,
the 3 years, years later,
like
that was kind of
seeing
cool.
the Empire in the trenches was
Yeah.
kind of cool.
That was kind of cool because
Because they haven't really done that before.
no, it's all like space fighting.
Like, they
and
kind of
clean.
did it in Rogue One from the Rebel perspective, but
Yeah.
not to the same extent.
Yeah,
Like, it was really cool being able to see the Imperial troops just landing and going into the trenches.
yeah, the
and everything.
non-stormtrooper, like the super grunt. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that was pretty cool. I like that scene.
I don't understand. I don't understand why they didn't have stormtrooper outfits, but stormtroopers who are terrible shots have stormtrooper. You know what I mean?
Because
Like,
they're even lower than them.
Because they weren't stormtroopers.
They were infantry.
Yeah.
They were even lower than stormtroopers.
my
Yeah.
point is though,
Because the stormtroopers are supposed to be the best of the best. They just can't fire.
was
They're
it?
terrible at aim.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, above stormtroopers like the Imperial Guard, but those are just fancier stormtroopers.
Yeah.
But that scene was kind of cool. Woody Harrelson didn't do bad.
He was
But
there.
he was definitely just Woody Harrelson.
He was, playing a Woody Harrelson type character.
Yeah, it was definitely just. And so, I guess, spoilers, we already did spoilers, but, like, was anyone surprised by the turn at the end?
No.
No, right?
that
I was
Harrelson's
kind of
character,
bummed because as
Beckett.
they were starting the movie, I was like, this is going to be a heist movie. I love heist movies.
And it wasn't.
And then it wasn't a heist movie.
It would have been more interesting as a heist movie.
Yeah.
It would have been way
Because they
more
were
interesting.
setting it up like it could have been a heist movie.
It would have been way more
Yeah,
interesting.
they could do a lot more with that. Also, I don't understand the whole Han Chewie. Like Chewie hasn't been fed in 3 days,
And
but
he's
he's
still
all
like.
of a sudden gonna work with Han.
and he's still like.
Because he speaks Wookiee.
How did they meet in
changes
the? How did they meet in the
everything.
Eve?
3 days, dude.
Yeah.
How did they meet in the Eve?
Not like that.
Do you remember how?
I don't remember. It was the same idea where like he was a slave for the Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was the same.
Okay.
But it definitely wasn't in like a mud pit.
Right. I will say it was a welcome surprise that when Han was threatening blackmail, Beckett was just like, "Hey, he's a deserter. Don't believe what he says." Like that was because they don't do that in movies,
Yeah.
right?
No.
The Woody Harrelson's character would have been like, "Darn, I guess we got to take the scrappy kid," and he was just like, "Get him," and they were like, "No, I don't know." It's just
This guy's bad.
Yeah.
Don't listen to him.
exactly. So that was kind of cool.
He's like, no, he's bad. No, he said not to listen to you.
Yeah, right. You don't understand. He said it first.
He's the ranking officer here.
Right. But they get out with Chewie's help, and they get on the ship with Beckett and his 2 other people.
I want to know more about them.
I don't remember the forearm guy's name, but I like the forearm guy.
I like
Yeah.
Val.
Val is a girlfriend
The-
and or wife.
Yeah. I want to know more about her.
His dead lady wife.
They were more interesting than Beckett or Han.
Yeah. Well, it's impressive that they managed to make Han as boring as he was.
Yeah. It's just sort of.
The whole movie is about him, and he's supposed to have all this charisma because he was like the most iconic character in the original trilogy.
I mean, to be fair, I could understand that he's still young, so he may not have all of those charisma points.
yeah,
He
but
put into, or like
I guess.
asshole points he put into. So that I could kind of understand, but I wanted to.
But just
more
like
about
the story was about him, but all of the characters surrounding him seemed more
way-
interesting.
Yeah, this is true.
Like they could have made the entire film about Kira, and that would have been more interesting.
Not with her acting.
Well. But her character was more interesting.
Is
Well, the second half when we find out about.
Is
like,
it bad that I went to Wikipedia to look up that forearm guy's name and they don't have the actor for him listed in the cast?
Really?
Yeah, they have everyone listed before him.
It's interesting.
What is his name then?
I don't know. I'm still looking it up right
Oh,
now.
the character's name. Okay.
Yes, unfortunately.
What, an Ardenian? Is that what they said he was?
Something like it's something with an E or an I. Yeah.
But they
Was it Rio?
she also name drops that she knows Terrace Kasi at one point, which I thought was kind of amusing.
That was the game.
That was the really bad fighting game.
Yeah.
Was it Rebolt or was it Rio?
I have no idea.
I have no idea.
You should Google forearm guy.
Forearm solo guy.
Forearm. You should
Beckett
Google
underlings.
guy in Solo that wasn't Goro.
Complete opposite. Did they do the heist?
Yes.
Which that was probably the highlight of the movie. I feel.
Think so?
I enjoyed that part of the movie a lot.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's
I
about it.
think that. Yeah, I agree. Because it was highlighting more of the rest of the crew.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they were all working together. They all had these random things that came
They all
up.
had jobs because they were performing a heist.
Yeah, and then fucking the Marauder.
The Marauder
People?
dudes.
Yeah, they showed up. they were really interesting at that point. The whole like Val was doing her thing on the bridge.
I was kind of hoping they were just Tusken Raiders, like fancy Tusken Raiders, like space
It was
Tusken
Rio.
Raiders.
It was Rio. That was John Favreau's voice.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Was it really?
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird that he wouldn't be listed in the fucking Wikipedia article.
It was
That's
Happy.
fine. Yeah.
That's weird.
I can see it. He seemed pretty chipper.
Yeah, no, getting into that, it was weird how it seemed like they had been planning this for a while, and then they were still people short, and then they're like, Han and Chewbacca.
Let's take them.
Yeah, right? Like, it was really weird. 'Cause-
Chewbacca is probably the best thing ever. Yeah.
And, like, to piggyback off yours, yeah, like, because when you're planning a heist, you definitely have, like, more roles than just driver and not driver.
Yeah.
Like,
Like even in Baby Driver, when they only had 4 people, everybody had more of a role than just I'm driving, I'm not driving.
yeah, like, Val had her part, Rio had his part, and then everybody else was like,
Yeah.
I guess.
That was about it.
Yeah, so it was weird.
I guess cannon fodder could be considered a role in a heist.
Meat shield.
Yeah.
You mean Rio or whatever his name was got shot in the shoulder and was like, "Oh, I'm dying."
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
I'm so
Du-
dead.
Dual role, right there. You served both purposes.
Driver
Um,
and dead guy.
The that scene wasn't particularly bad, but it
Yeah,
wasn't
that was-
exciting per se. It was kind of just like
It was just
there was a
kinda
lot
there.
of not action happening in an action scene.
Yeah.
You're talking about the heist?
Like while they were getting the cart, the train car.
I would disagree with you on
Like I'm not saying it had zero action, but like for me it was a little underwhelming because it's like we're on a speeding train and we're getting shot at by bandits, and it was kind of
Oh.
like
it wasn't.
pew pew.
I thought
Yeah,
they could have made
I
it a
see what
little
you're
more
saying.
interesting,
I see what you're
especially
saying.
with the fact that they were showing how the train was like twisting on the
Yeah.
cart on the rail.
Yeah.
Like that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's like they could have done so much with the action sequences just with the train swerving.
Yeah, and they
Swimming.
like I said, it wasn't zero action. It just I was expecting like
It wasn't.
we're on
It wasn't flashy. Is what
yeah.
you're saying.
Well, even
Yeah.
like westerns when they're doing train fights seem a little bit more interesting than that.
I never watched
They're
it.
just fucking trains.
Well, usually there are horses running next to the train,
Yeah.
so they have people jumping from the train to the horses and back to
That's
the
what the
train.
one person was doing.
It
the
wasn't
staff?
Also, if we're talking about roles, they had like 6 people, and it was person who jumps on the train and then everyone else.
Driver.
No, all of them had hooks in it, and they were all drivers.
No.
They definitely didn't
The
need
bandits.
3 people to unhook all of the cars.
Yeah,
Yeah. That is what
she unhooked 2 of them by herself. So-
Also, they could have just sent Chewie down there, and he could have done it by himself.
right? Yeah,
So
whatever. So they get away. Val dies, which is sad.
I can see why Beckett continues to owe people money because he's really bad at planning heists.
Yes. Val dies, which is sad. She sacrifices herself, whatever. And then they go meet
Also,
Paul Bettany.
Paul Bettany.
I like.
Playing a Paul Bettany.
I just
character.
like Paul Bettany. Like,
in this role, he was terrible.
I didn't mind it.
It was bad.
His character was really boring.
Yeah, it was over. Like he was trying to be over the top, but it was just.
But he had scars on his face,
Yeah.
guys.
Oh yeah, that changes everything.
Doesn't
So he
that
was
make
boring
him
and he had scars.
Doesn't that make him an interesting character?
He,
No.
he was boring and had no stories to tell.
He also stabbed that guy.
Oh, right.
And then was like excited about it,
He was really excited
Or,
about
like,
stabbing that
overly-
guy. He was like, it's a party!
Yeah.
orgasmic about it.
Woo!
almost.
But Han and Beckett show up there. It was nice to look at that place. I don't know.
You're talking about the ship.
The yacht.
Yeah, the place
Or
where
the
yeah,
cruiser,
yeah,
whatever
the
it
cruiser,
was.
whatever. Yeah, it was cool. It was nice scenery, I guess.
I was getting flashbacks of Return of the Jedi when the singer and then the thing in the
Oh,
tube.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
That was way better than that, though.
Right.
It was played down.
Yeah.
Um.
What I'm saying is it wasn't re-released in a special edition with Lucas talking about how amazing it was that was added into the movie.
Right. Scene changing. So then they go over the heist plan, which is a bunch of fucking.
Well, we got to talk about Han meeting Kira again
Oh yeah.
after 3 years of like not.
Hey, like, I missed you. I missed you too. Because I don't know
I was
how to
coming.
act.
I was coming back to you. I was. That's why I was doing this job. That's great.
Yeah.
It's so depressing, like you were saying, Sam, that, like, I really like Amelia Clark.
I do too.
but I don't like her in this role.
She, like, in the beginning, in the first, like, part of it, she acted very fake.
Like, it's super exciting
It's
whenever I
super
see her cast in things because I love watching her in Game of Thrones.
Uh-huh.
But it's,
then I see her in other movies, I'm like, go back to Game of Thrones.
it's because she doesn't talk.
When
in
does
Game of
when does the next season start?
Not soon
2019.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Oh.
get back to it, kind of thing. Yeah. So, I was curious as to what angle they would go. Whether she was going to be what's his face's lover.
I was curious
or...
what they were going to do with her, and I was really disappointed with how that played out.
Yeah.
Like, a lot.
Okay.
Really?
Yes.
We'll get.
So they do the.
Wait. Talk about the part where you're like, oh, when Chewbacca had 2 drinks.
Oh, I was really sad about that
When
part.
they're all hanging out, and Chewie's
because
like,
Chewbacca went to go get him.
one for my homies.
Yeah, he went to go get a drink for Han, and then he turns around, and there's Han drinking with some Paloozy, and Chewie's just like, all right, I guess. Here's a double. I felt bad about that. I was like, oh.
Chewie got left out.
But that was
In the cold.
that was one of those brief moments where like they showed that Chewie like cared about, like, right, they didn't have to say anything about it. They just used that as a thing to kind of like.
I understand you're
Also-
trying to make something good
Look.
out of this, but it seemed forced.
No,
They
It seemed
didn't-
too early.
no, I liked it.
I don't
I
feel like
laughed.
they did anything in the movie to really show why Chewie had a life debt for Juan.
That's
For
right.
Juan.
That's
For
right.
Juan.
For Juan.
For Juan.
Well, he helped get him off the planet, but outside
yeah,
of
I
that,
know, but like it was
No,
a
okay,
really
and
big
to be
deal.
fair-
He had been in slavery for a long time
Well,
when Han saved him.
and
in
to
the
be
books.
fair, he didn't so much help Chewie as to like break him out. He was like, "Hey, Chewie, hit that pole because you're stronger than me,
yeah,
and then we'll break out."
like there wasn't really nothing that was like a life or death situation for Chewie that Han saved him from, and he was like, "Well, I owe you my life for the rest of
Yeah.
my life."
For sure. That was a good scene, Sam. Don't knock the drink scene. It was funny, if nothing else.
It was funny, but it's also like it seems too early.
That's fine. I mean, we watched the movie at like 6:30, so it's definitely not early. But you know,
30 at night is early for you?
no, I said it's not early.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, so they discussed the
Joke fell flat.
Yeah.
Anyway, they discussed the stupid movie or the stupid heist.
the stupid plot. What are you gonna do for me to fix this nonsense? And then for some reason he feels the need to send Amelia Clark's character,
Yeah, he's like,
Kira.
well, I need to make sure that y'all are going to do this, so I'm going to send the person that I trust the most
Yeah.
with
So
you
when
to do
so,
it.
so when he did that, I was like, maybe she's gonna kill them, and I was like, that would be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And then they didn't do that.
I was kinda hoping
we're
that-
marking this list off. We'll get to what eventually happens at some point.
And now they're just like, let's come up with an idea off the top of our heads. What if we don't give you refined fuel?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, it was definitely like a.
Like, where are you going to pay me back for all that refined fuel? What if we just get you unrefined fuel? Oh,
And-
okay, that's fine.
And then refine it. And not even like more, just.
He wasn't even just like, do you know how much money it's going to cost me to refine that and
Yeah.
get it all shipped off? That's not productive
No.
for me.
Plot convenience.
Oh, right, sorry.
So then they go meet Lando.
This
I
is the
like
part-
DG as Lando.
Yeah.
I do really like
Yeah,
Donald Glover
he
as
was-
Lando.
Yeah.
He did a really good job of owning that role.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
said in an interview that when he met with
Billy D.
Billy D, he asked him, "It's like, what do I need to do?" And he was like, "Be as charming as you could possibly be."
Yep.
She
and
did.
and then he was like, "I fucking maxed that out. Went home and watched The Empire Strikes Back." I think he really nailed that role. Like,
Yeah, he
was,
did a really good job with that role.
No, I loved it. It was
I
fun.
did appreciate that Han went into the Sabak match and
Uh-huh.
won the Falcon that way.
Uh-huh.
Even though in the books it was like a full blown tournament, he wasn't just like sitting down at a table and like, I'm gonna win that fight.
That's-
That shit.
That's how I thought it happened. Was just a regular.
He won
Not
it in
a
a
tournament.
tournament.
Like one-off game. So
It was a Sabak tournament.
was the ship not Lando's? It was just the prize for.
No, it was definitely Lando's
Oh, okay.
ship. He did win it from Lando,
Oh,
but he
okay.
won it from Lando in a tournament setting. he
Well,
didn't just sit down at a table and like,
they
I'm gonna win
couldn't-
that shit.
They couldn't do it.
They could have. They just didn't.
No. But I will say, I feel like, and this is a problem I feel like they had with a lot of the parts in this movie. I feel like they lingered on the poker match for like a little bit too long.
I would agree if it weren't for the fact that I thought the poker match was the most interesting thing that happened.
Right.
So in that case, I think that they should have lingered on it longer.
Forever. But it was interesting, and I like that
And then they introduces SJW Robot, L337.
she was kind of funny.
I didn't have anything against her.
Right,
I enjoyed it.
You're not gonna go make a 20-minute YouTube video
No.
decrying the entire.
I can guarantee that
So-
other people are going to.
So real quick, before, like, when you say SJW, I know it's a whole, like, oh, equal rights, blah, blah, blah. But that is something that, like,
never-
is actually interesting in
Universe.
Star Wars that's never been addressed is
Yeah.
how do some robots have,
Personality.
right, yeah, personality, and, like, they apparently are owned and some aren't, and they're murder bots, and
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
of them aren't. Like,
No, that's
it's an
fair.
actual, like,
It's
kind
an
of
interesting.
interesting.
It is interesting.
It's an interesting like facet of the world
Yeah,
that never
so
gets touched upon.
I just-
But at the same time,
I didn't like it. Like, I liked the idea, but I thought that it was a little too heavy-handed.
That's my
this
point.
movie.
It's like if at this point in our social structure of everything and politics, it's just a little.
Like, I
it's
feel
too
if they had
much.
just downplayed it a little bit,
yeah,
it would have made
it's
the
one thing to
character
be that kind of person. It's another thing for that to be your entire identity.
better. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
It's one thing to have those kind of like ideologies, but then to make
But
it.
she wasn't. Like, it was one aspect of it.
Yeah, she wasn't
very
terrible. I didn't hate her or anything.
Yeah.
By any means. She made me laugh again. Right.
I just didn't like her name.
Oh,
Because L337 is
Yeah.
a stupid name.
Yeah.
leet, bro, leet.
Elite. So elite.
Dude, so it was also kind of funny when they got to the ship, and it was impounded,
Yeah, I liked that.
and Lando was like,
Because that was totally a Lando thing to do.
What
Be
happened?
like,
like,
oh no,
Oh no!
but since you're here,
What happened to my ship that I totally am not stealing right now?
right? It was pretty funny though.
It was really good. I also liked the fact that they addressed why the Falcon didn't look the same, because when they showed the trailers,
That bothered the
it
shit.
irritated the shit out of me that it didn't have the two prongs.
Yeah,
So them elaborating on the fact that that was an escape pod that he had custom installed, I appreciated.
gotcha,
And got rid of.
Yes, and it got rid of.
Right.
So immediately made the Falcon better.
gotcha. So another thing about the whole heist thing, right? So they immediately from that planet are like off to the heist place. No, like, all right, how does Lando fit into this? How does this change the plan? Kind of just we're off.
Yep.
We're,
Pacing and writing is just.
yeah. Like,
It seems to be a thing that's going on with Disney films because Infinity War also does that occasionally. There's some other Marvel properties.
you don't get
that-
to speak ill of that movie.
I'm just
Sam,
saying.
at all.
I'm
Ever.
just saying.
John, no
that
movie is
that's what-
perfect.
Godfather.
Especially Infinity War.
I don't think Infinity War is perfect by any means.
It's better than Justice League. But
You know,
that's a story for
why?
another day.
Why are they?
Suicide Squad.
See, they.
It's an award-winning film.
Did anyone care that they kept like, oh, now that these dice are a thing, we're gonna keep close-up like shots on them?
I
So
mean,
dumb.
I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
I was kind of uninvested at this point.
Right.
It wasn't even really an interesting backstory for where the dice came from.
No, it was just
Oh, so they were in the original?
Yeah.
I did
They were
not
in the
know.
original. They were also in Last Jedi and Force Awakens.
yeah.
Also, why the fuck do they always have to come back to that stupid hologram chest thing? Every fucking time. Like,
Because
The
it's
Force
like
Awakens
it's
had
integral
it.
to the story of the Millennium Falcon. If you
I'm
notice, it's
tired of
always on
seeing
the
it.
Falcon.
it's getting to that point of, like, Batman's origin story. Get the fuck away from it. I'm
Well,
tired of seeing it.
I'm sorry to tell you that in Episode 9 they're probably going to have somebody playing it.
They used it to explain the fact that Han needs
it's
to
probably
think
going to
ahead.
be it's going to be Chewie. It's going to be Chewie playing with one of the Porgs.
They needed to
gonna
use it
happen.
as a way to explain the whole like think 2 moves ahead of your opponent nonsense to Han.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
shoot.
the end scene wouldn't have happened.
It's just find another way.
Also, why in that scene did they not have Woody Harrelson be like, always shoot first? I would have been fine with that. That would have
think-
taken care of the entire Greedo thing.
No, I think. Wait, when he got shot,
Yeah.
I
I
think
mean,
that's
that
what he was gonna say
But he didn't say it.
because he was gonna say, "I'm about to teach you the most important rule," and then he got
But
shot.
I'm saying that, like, if they had said that, I would have been way happier with all the re-edits they did of A New Hope. Because of the whole Han shooting first.
I was gonna get to that, but I'm glad you brought that up.
Sorry, I didn't mean to jump ahead.
Bring
Just,
up
it
those
was, it was a good
wounds.
point.
All the How do you think the fanboys handled it?
Divided.
No,
Probably.
fanboys probably loved it because of the cameo.
We'll get to that. So they get to the planet.
Which cameo?
They do
The
a
big
fake.
cameo.
There's
They-
two.
The important cameo.
There's two.
There's one.
There's two.
There's one.
There's technically two.
Like, just because the movie is called Solo doesn't mean there has to be one, right? So they get to the planet. They do a fake slave thing, and then they bust out.
Yep. They stole stuff.
I do appreciate the one thing that the robot does.
It started a revolution.
It wasn't even planned.
Right.
It wasn't even planned. Wasn't even like, you know, she was even like, you know what, I don't know, go free your friends or something. It wasn't her like,
She's like, whatever, go crazy.
go for-
Yeah, she was
Yeah.
like, do whatever the fuck you want.
yeah, I appreciate that, and that was that is a good joke to
Mhm.
tie in through that entire scene.
Yes.
Especially when the robot was like, smash, smash,
Yeah.
smash with the thing.
Yeah.
Also, did anybody laugh at the robot wars in
Yeah.
the
Yes.
scene? Because that,
I like
really
that.
enjoyed that.
That was amusing.
I feel like the escape scene after they had gotten to the surface, again, for me, lasted a little bit too long.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like, they were shooting at people. And
Yeah.
just
Also,
shooting
they're,
at
they're
people.
just out in the open
Yeah, they're
shooting
just
at
like,
people.
blah, blah.
What the
blah,
fuck?
Also,
blah.
why were they unloading the things off of the cart
One at a
Instead of
time.
rolling
instead
the
of just
cart
rolling the cart
up there?
onto the Falcon and leaving?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it just felt really long. Like they were shooting people, and then like Leet got shot, and Lando ran out, and then
Yep.
Lando got shot, and then Han and Chewie ran out, and then as they were
But
coming
they-
back, fucking Kira came out and was like, "I'm gonna throw grenades now for
Yeah.
whatever fucking reason."
no
Well,
reason.
I could kind of see because she
Well,
went
I know
in.
why, but it's just like do that while thing. Like don't just this already
Highlight
long
it.
scene,
yeah.
and then you're like,
It could have
add
been
it
cut.
in.
It could have been cut better to make it not seem like it was going on as long as
yeah,
it was.
because it just
It-
felt like it was going on.
It honestly felt like that first whole scene of him on whatever planet that was. I can't remember the name of. They could have just made that entirely a like flashbacks
Mhm.
instead of having to have that first, because the pacing throughout the movie was just all over the place,
Mhm.
and you could have had better interactions with everybody.
Gotcha.
They could have started the movie with him being in the Imperials,
Yes,
and then just having flashbacks to when he was on Corellia. I
For
agree.
sure.
That would have been better.
a lot better.
But guys, just like in Last Jedi, when going to that casino planet was pointless because they ended up back in the same spot.
Yep.
Didn't the whole movie seem kind of like that?
Yeah.
Because they ended back up in the same spot. So why do people like this movie as much as they do?
They don't.
Yeah.
Clearly, the box office says
I've seen
otherwise.
people that are like, this was better than the Last Jedi.
Well, the box office says
Well,
otherwise.
they're wrong.
I mean, I agree. But anyways, so they get off planet with the stuffs.
No,
and
they
then-
didn't. No, they didn't.
They did.
They didn't get off planet yet.
They got off the planet.
Also, we didn't even talk about Chewie's
Chewie.
Family?
girlfriend.
Other
No.
Wookiee people.
Chewie's
Or,
like
they
just
weren't.
other.
I think they were just other
Kashikans?
Wookiees.
I thought it was confirmed that Chewie's wife was in this movie,
Was
I
it?
don't remember that.
and that's what I
Well,
I
if
mean,
it was, they didn't do
they
a good
didn't
job
convey that
portraying
very
that.
well.
because that was the person that he headbutted with,
I mean,
or not.
I
don't
mean,
know.
if my people had been enslaved and I saved them and then they were gonna go off and do their own thing, I'd give them some sort of like hug.
Yeah,
or,
I'm just saying, like, if that was supposed to be his tribe,
Yeah.
and they didn't do a very good job of
Conveying that to
highlighting
us.
that to
I
us.
mean, they grunt, and, like make
Yeah,
the
but
sounds.
Han knows what he's saying. They could have
Yeah.
had him portray that to us in some way.
they could have been like so did you know them? And then he broke.
Yeah, instead
and
of
he'd
him
be
just being
oh.
like, there are Wookiees over there.
Yeah.
Well, we got other shit to do.
Yeah, like later he could have just been like, oh, that was, oh, I'm sorry. Kind of, just like 2 seconds, 3 seconds, whatever. Instead, we get to see Han and Amelia Clark making out in the fucking cape closet.
Not yet, because they.
No, that was before
that was before.
that was way before.
Yeah, we missed
but,
that part.
But they did go through the Keswick run, which I'm still
Kessel-
confused.
Kessel run.
Whatever.
So,
I'm still confused by it.
so real quick,
It's a run. It's about how fast they
Implying-
can get through the maelstrom.
That's all that it is.
Yeah,
doing the Kessel run is
Like,
saying
in this
I am
movie,
getting a
in that-
shipment from Kessel, either to Kessel or from.
yeah.
So
Because
my,
it's a smuggler's run.
so my question is then, well, it always sounded like it was like a race.
Well, no.
I
Was it
never-
in the
I mean,
book?
I never
yes,
got that.
the Kessel Run is a thing.
No,
but
no, but
like
it-
it's referred to as like it's called the Kessel Run because it's a smuggler's run.
I'm just saying, in the original,
Like the
Trilogy.
fastest way to do the Kessel Run was always this one route. that takes X amount of time.
Okay.
So it's almost like
It wasn't actually.
okay.
It wasn't a race.
So you know,
Oh,
so you know how
okay.
the Underground Railroad is not a
Okay.
real railroad.
Right,
it's
right,
a
right,
trail that they would use.
It's just when you refer to like I made it in X time and X is important.
Yeah.
Typically, that is
Well,
a race.
as a
that's
smuggler,
implied.
it is important to make things fast.
Also, help me understand. So they're on the planet, that mining planet,
Mhm.
and so is the planet surrounded by gas?
They did a really bad job of explaining that.
Because I'm like, where's the sun coming from? What the fuck
'Cause, like,
is it the
in the books,
universe.
like I said, the Maelstrom didn't exist. It was the Maw, which was just a black hole cluster
right?
that existed near Kessel. It wasn't like Kessel was surrounded by this
So
black hole.
in space and then planets.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
but it was like a black hole cluster, so there's a lot of
Okay.
and the whole that doesn't even factor into the Kessel Run.
So this whole like cloud thing is not even
No, at least not in his origin.
Right.
As far as
It wasn't
Kessel's
original
concerned.
canon for the
because
Kessel
this
Run.
whole cloud thing makes no sense if there's a planet here
That has a sun.
that has no sun. It's surrounding the planet because it seemed like it was surrounding the planet.
Yeah.
Unless.
But also there's this gravity well in it next to the planet
Yeah, they don't really do a good job of explaining where
And-
exactly this maelstrom is.
and a giant like octopus thing that
Yeah.
where is it getting food from first of all
It eats ships that come into the
Duh.
maelstrom.
to sustain that huge of a body.
Yeah,
Sure.
because obviously it gets power from electronics. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Real quick. I didn't particularly care. Like, I don't think they did a great job as far as like Kira and Han's like love.
I
No.
don't think they did a good
It
job
wasn't.
with a lot.
There's
it
no
wasn't-
chemistry.
Well, it wasn't as bad as Anakin Padme, but it
It was
wasn't.
close.
It wasn't very good.
There wasn't
At
a whole
least-
lot of chemistry.
At least they had more chemistry than these two.
I think that was just
No.
because they were
No?
slightly
No.
better on screen.
Anyways,
Probably because there was slightly better directing than there was in the first three films.
Yeah, I would
And
say.
writing.
I would say it's not
Yeah.
as
About
bad,
writing.
but it's not. It's definitely not good. Like what her name, Jin and what's his face had better like on screen shit than them.
They also mentioned, like I forgot to bring it up earlier, but they mentioned that Captain Beckett killed Aura Singh, which is kind of important. In
Who is Aura Singh?
I don't remember who exactly she was, and I forgot to check when I got out.
Oh,
But she is definitely a figure in the Star Wars universe.
interesting.
like the main universe, not the
Yeah.
Well, the
books.
EU.
Okay.
Like she's shown up in one of the movies.
I'll have to look at that.
So how?
So
Sorry, go ahead.
the creature looked cool, I guess.
It was cool, and seeing its flesh get ripped off is kind of cool.
That
That's
was a
about
cool part.
it. It was.
I had a problem with the Imperials showing up because it didn't really seem necessary.
Yeah.
Right? They could have the urgency was already there because
The urgency
of the,
was already established because the fuel was going to go bad
yeah.
if
So
they didn't get it where
they
it
could have
needed
just
to be.
been like, we're not going to make it if we
Like,
take the regular path.
The robot died. We needed navigation. We no longer have that.
Mhm.
That is enough motivation to make them need to divert their route.
To get to X to Y.
Yeah, they
within
didn't need to
time.
add a Star Destroyer flying through the Maelstrom for no reason.
And TIE fighters.
Yeah, and TIE Fighters.
Yeah, it was. I mean,
Outside
'Cause
of
the
to
ship-
like destroy
'cause-
the lasers
well,
so
no,
that he
the
has
sh-
to replace the cannons later.
the ship had to get damaged, but you could have used
Right.
the rocks for that. I guess it gave Woody Harrelson one less thing to do because he wasn't shooting on the fucking cannons. I don't
Oh my
know.
goodness.
But they upload Leet into the system and they plot a course. But yes, the black hole scene was cool when the creature's skin got ripped off.
It's cool.
That was really badass.
Also, why is it
Doesn't
that
make
everything seems to be able to accept every type of fuel ever? Like it
We can-
seems like this is just a thing that happens in
Yeah,
sci-fi.
we can just throw that into the engine,
We can just throw this unrefined fuel into the engine; it'll work fine. It won't destroy anything at all.
right.
Corellian YT-1300s are definitely made to do this. It's just ridiculous.
So they got out of there, immediately got to the planet, which I thought was kind of cool. When they unloaded the
I liked
Unrefined.
the
So-
one thing that I really appreciated about that whole thing was how when they first showed the Millennium Falcon, it actually looked like a really nice ship.
and
And
it's
then
just
by
been
the end, it's
slowly-
just beaten to shit.
yeah.
And that I appreciated.
So I don't. So real quick before we get
Lando
to
was not happy.
one of my favorite parts, did they drift because it sent rocks flying at the TIE fighter?
I don't
Yes.
know.
And
was
if-
that what they did?
And
Yes.
if so,
So they-
how did that work for a famous street racer? Like maybe to get away from the
Also-
cops.
Also, how do floating cars in the beginning of the scene skid or turn like that? That doesn't.
Yeah, but yeah, when they don't have momentum, they shouldn't. You don't need to. You don't need like a
Yeah.
circle, because if they're
It-
floating, you can just
Yeah,
this
Yeah, I
with
didn't-
my
I
hand
didn't
that you can't see on the mic.
but but
You don't have to round a corner if you're standing still in it.
You don't need to do a Tokyo Drift.
Yeah, you can just
Yeah.
turn 90 degrees.
I feel like they didn't actually bother to look at like hoverboats or anything.
No.
before
There's
this
just
happened.
there's a lot of technical things that just don't make sense in this
Yeah.
movie.
people are gonna bitch about those fucking bombs and Star Wars.
They don't make sense.
It
John.
makes sense,
They
Sam.
don't make sense.
Okay.
And it bothered
It can be
me.
entirely explained by just being like magnets. Problem solved.
It's definitely magnets.
Space magnets.
All they had to say was then release the magnets.
No,
No, because
Done.
they were bombs, not magnets.
Magnet bombs.
They're
Put two words
magnet-
together.
they're magnetic-
Don't
That
use
takes-
that.
They're
It was a
magnetically
point of
propelled.
urgency. If they added
Okay.
magnets, they were in a hurry. You can't say release the magnet
Millisecond
bombs.
later.
Yeah, whatever. So they get to
Um,
the planet, unload the stuff, and they had my favorite part with Han. I think so. I know characters can change and develop over time, right? So the character that Han is in 4, 5, 6, 7 doesn't have to be the same person he is in his own origin story, because right, you're supposed to change.
I liked
But-
that he was a little bit more optimistic in this.
Yes,
Like the part whenever they're flying through the maelstrom, he's like, "I've got a good feeling about this,"
yes.
and
And he
Like-
said punch it too.
he did. I brought that up when we were going to the car. I was like, "Why did they bother to put push it in the fucking trailer if he said punch it in the movie?"
To make
They
you
fixed
upset.
it.
They did it just to make me mad.
Stu Brian's gonna hate this.
There were times that I think that he, like, there were times in the movies where I wish they would have hinted a little bit more at the person he's going to become. I feel like his best moment was with Glover, or with Lando, looking at the ship.
Yeah.
I think that was his. I was like, okay, I believe that in this brief period of time, I believe that you are Han Solo and you're going to become the character we see in the future movies.
Yeah.
I felt like that was a really good part.
I
Because
think, yeah.
he's just like, he just walked
to
up to
your
me,
point,
hand on his shoulder, just like,
he doesn't really do anything in the movie to give you the idea that he's a scoundrel, which is what he's referred to all the time
Yeah.
in the other movies.
because they with Kira, they try to keep they're for some reason they're playing at this role that he's a hero.
Yeah.
And yes, he does heroic things, but it's usually for like self-serving reasons.
Yeah.
You know.
Even in that, like, he doesn't even have selfish motives in this movie.
He
His
doesn't.
motives are entirely, I want to leave Corellia and I want to go and save my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Save Kira.
Well, I guess
For that- for
having
that
sex with her. Like,
Yeah.
I guess, but I mean, like, it's never... None of his motives in this film are self-serving. Like, they're all for the better of somebody else.
Yeah. Which again, something can happen and that can change, but like I feel like you want to leave like breadcrumbs. If you're doing a prequel story, you want to leave breadcrumbs to kind of show, oh, that's how he took that turn.
Right.
Instead of it becoming just like we're going this way and then a fucking 90
Yeah.
like just like
And,
a
like, I
straight
can
edge,
kind
right?
of see the, like, don't trust anybody because of the Beckett thing and the fact that Kira decides not to come with
Mhm.
him. But then, why is he becoming a smuggler for Jabba? There's no reason for it.
Yeah.
Other
Like,
than-
he has a ship, and he has his freedom.
Because
Why is he
Beckett-
going to go work for somebody when he
Because-
doesn't need to?
Yeah.
Beckett said that there was opportunity. That's it.
But
Yeah,
we
but-
didn't ever see a point of him
But also
wanting
Kira-
opportunity to make money.
Yeah, it was all for Kira. Kira left now. She's not a thing anymore in his life.
Yeah.
So like, where's his? Yeah, like they.
That should've
I
crushed
felt like they
him.
played it a little bit weird. Like I said, it wasn't all terrible. Like I said,
They
that-
should have done, if they had done a better job of portraying like how crushed he was at the fact that she didn't come with him,
That would have been different.
then I could be like, okay, yeah, so he's gonna start doing jobs for crime lords
just
because
like-
he
because
doesn't
like-
have anything
yeah,
better
he-
to do.
Yeah, he's like, I got nothing to lose. Fuck it, whatever.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah,
But that's
different
not how they
motivations.
like. All they don't even have to change the
No,
movie.
they
that
don't.
much.
Just make him look a little bit more like set when she drives off, and
Yeah.
he's just kind of like, see you later. Like,
Just like, well, that didn't work out.
yeah. But yeah,
At
like I
least I
said,
got my dice back.
there were parts of it, but there were just other parts where I was like, I feel like if you tweaked it just a little bit, it kind of it gives you that gradual curve of where he's going to be versus I fucking swear, if this gets a sequel, like when she dies, they're gonna do like a
She's not
it's
gonna
gonna
die.
you're gonna get whiplash with
John,
how quickly he turns.
She can't die because she's Rey's mother. Duh.
No,
That makes no sense.
but you're gonna get whiplash.
She's gonna be like 60.
I feel like you're gonna.
Doesn't matter.
I feel like you're gonna get whiplash from how quickly she changes.
When you're strong with the Force, you
which is
can
gonna
have
suck.
kids whenever you want.
I feel like maybe that's what they were trying to do.
They just
was that
didn't.
like they wanted to make a sequel because obviously
They want to.
Obviously, we haven't gotten to the cameo part, but
Right.
yeah.
But yeah, that scene with Lando and him, I really loved. That just look at it. He's just like, I hate you.
Never want to see.
And
you
I
never
again.
wanna
really
see
liked that scene.
I never want to see your face again. He's like, ever? And he's just like, finger in the air kind of thing. That was I really enjoyed that scene. That was funny to me.
It's because Lando was done really well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, the scenes where Lando was in them were good.
Yeah. So he goes to the ship. They wait for the Raider people show up again.
Yes. And then we find out that the person that was attacking the
Beckett's crew.
Beckett's crew was a girl, and I would normally be like, yeah, this is awesome, except the person doing this the at the beginning
Mm-hmm.
is literally walking, and it feels like a different person than the person we actually get. That
Gotcha.
takes off the mask,
Fair
and
enough.
it sort of broke the entire reality of everything. So
Fair
it's just like, this doesn't feel like the same person.
Yeah.
Mhm.
At least.
That would have been a good opportunity to bring in Boba Fett.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Why couldn't Boba Fett be chasing him?
Fuck that.
Would have been
Um,
better than. Well,
so-
I guess I'm not opposed to them being the rebellion, but the way they did it was kind of dumb.
So,
Yeah.
and again, she tells Han her sob story, and he's just like, I'm on board.
Yeah,
Let's betray all the people.
yeah. Like, Han is just all for all of the plans.
Yeah.
Everybody's
It's
plans
like-
are good.
Well, it's kind of like that thing that I complained about with Game of Thrones, Daenerys, and she's like, I'm getting the Iron Throne, but first I'm gonna free these slaves. All right, I'm getting the Iron Throne, but first I'm gonna free these other slaves. Like, no one's gonna stop me from getting the Iron Throne.
At least.
But actually, first I'm going like there's
At least it makes sense in that regards because she's on a totally different side of the planet.
That also plays into her character.
well,
and and she that.
I'm
and
just
she
saying, for me
is-
personally, it's annoying because it's like if this is your ultimate goal, you keep making these side stops.
But she's being smart about it.
Now she is gaining advantages for it, and like I said, so it does benefit her. But with Han, it doesn't.
No, it
He
doesn't.
keeps like,
Yeah.
oh, that's
'Cause-
shiny.
Yeah,
Like,
it doesn't play into his character. It doesn't play into the character that has already been constructed in the Star Wars lore.
yeah.
To be like, oh, I'm going to help you out because you said you needed help. That's totally what Han Solo does.
No, right? It's just yeah.
The scoundrel.
So they
You remember that part in A New Hope where Luke was like, I need help, and he was like, sure, I'm going to help you out.
for nothing,
For
no
free.
reason,
No reason. Free of charge.
right? And then even when it was for like an altruistic reason, he tried to like downplay it and be like, no, I just
Yeah, whenever he came back and he was like, yeah, well, there's going to be money in it at some point.
yeah. So even when he was being like a good guy,
He was never
like,
doing it because he was a good guy.
Well, no, even when if he was, right, it was like, well, I'm just gonna,
Yeah.
right. He wasn't like, yep, I'm a good guy, right. He was like, nah, I got money out of it. Don't read too much into it, right.
Yeah.
So they're gonna double cross him. Paul
But they-
Bettany's character shows up.
Oh, sorry.
Woody Harrelson's character leaves supposedly.
Big surprise. The person
Big
that,
surprise.
that double crossed
Guys.
him was Woody Harrelson. Who saw that coming?
I
The
don't
guy
know,
who said
guys.
don't trust anybody. Jeez, I rolled my eyes really hard at that point. I was like, if anyone is surprised by this, like,
Yeah.
have you not seen a movie before?
Yeah.
It would
Because-
have been more interesting if Chewie had been the one that sold him out.
Yeah.
That would have been really amusing.
Yeah, that scene kind of.
Nah.
Then they could have been like,
Well, what I
first
did,
rule is always let the Wookiee win.
what I did, like, even though it didn't really make sense, and they had planned, like, somehow Han planned for it, and the rebels got the drop on the Imperial Guard kind of people. So then we're left in this weird standoff where Woody Harrelson has the gun, and everyone else is kind of like, how are we going to play off of this? Like, that, the setup was interesting, what happened wasn't, but the whole, like, oh shit,
It actually is the.
Yeah, like there were like within that moment there was a good like, oh, this is interesting. Like how is this gonna play out? And then they
Yeah.
played it out kind of generically, but whatever. At least in that moment, I was kind of like, oh, I'm curious. Han takes Chewie, leaves all three of them in there, and
They all
then
fight.
they fight.
Bam, bam, bam.
Yay.
That fight scene was also really underwhelming.
I liked Han's quips in it. That was about it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Like, not a whole lot, but I appreciated them.
got you.
How he was like, let's team up and go take out the other guy. Yeah, okay, you first.
Yeah, stuff
Do
like
it.
that was like really
It's like, yeah, that's something I could see Han doing.
yeah. And then Kira starts sword fighting Paul Bettany's character, and then kills him.
But there's a lot of double crossing in this movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
From not Han, surprisingly.
right.
Han's like super gullible in this entire film.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yep, I believe you."
Yeah. So dumb.
And then Kira's like, I'll be right behind you. Go on ahead of me.
I'll totally follow you because that's what happens in movies when people say they're gonna
when,
do
When
that.
they point it out, don't worry, I'm right behind you.
And then Han's like, "I totally believe you."
Yeah.
And then he fucking walks out like an idiot.
Should have just waited.
How did he get in front of Beckett? Beckett
Yeah,
had
I
been
was
gone.
wondering that
Beckett
too.
had been gone for like a good fucking few minutes.
Yeah.
They were fighting for like a good chunk
Yeah.
of time, and Han ends up in front of Beckett like, and then Chewie like Beckett allows Chewie to just walk to the side with the shit. Point your gun at Chewie and be like, "I'll fucking murder him if you like." There are so many better ways to handle this, and you're just like, "Oh, I have the advantage. I don't want the advantage." Like,
Who wrote this? Because whoever wrote this is terrible.
I thought that Peter Caston worked on it too. Peter and Lawrence Kasdan.
That's really
sure.
I know they worked on it. I don't know if they wrote the whole thing, but I'm sure they had a hand in it.
Han shoots Woody Harrelson's character and he dies.
Yeah.
It's really not dramatic.
First rule is always shoot first. That's all they had to say. It would have been nice.
Whatever. Dies. Amelia Clarke takes off in the ship, and
Whoa, 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 whoa.
well, I don't know if the thing happened before or after that.
It happened
Before.
before.
Okay, spoiler alert. The big twist.
The big
Darth
twist.
Maul is in charge of Paul
Yeah,
Bettany's
right.
character.
It's really weird.
That felt really weird. Now, Darth Maul does come back in canon because
Darth
Rebels
Maul-
is canon.
Yes. Rebels is canon and he is in Rebels.
Yes. Well, he's in Rebels and Clone Wars.
He was in Clone War first, but Clone Wars isn't considered canon anymore.
Really? I thought parts of it were.
No,
Okay. Well then,
it's non-canon anymore. But that a lot of it carried over into Rebels, so it's still technically canon.
they did it like the show itself isn't canon, but the ideas from
Right.
it are
Yeah.
okay. Fair enough. But yeah, that was real. Like Crimson Dawn. Okay, Darth Maul's
It's a
red.
terrible name to begin
Darth
with.
Maul's red.
Yeah.
Sure, fine, whatever. But it
I was
it
really
did feel weird.
upset about it because
people were-
Darth Maul is
people
one of my
were-
least favorite characters.
Fuck you. First of all, second, people online, they weren't spoiling it, but they were like, I kept seeing either people talk about it or like articles listed as like the big cameo. So I was like, okay, like who's showing up?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and then it was Darth Maul, and I was like,
That's it?
what? Like
Yeah.
that?
With robot legs?
Well, he got kind
Well,
of.
yeah, he got cut
Well, I
in half.
know, but just robot legs, okay.
He had robot legs in Rebels.
Also, he looks really old now.
Well, it's
What?
been a while.
I know.
Since
Like Anakin was a kid when that happened.
Yeah,
Oh.
and Darth Maul.
So it's been
Darth
at
Vader's
least
dead now.
16 years.
even
It's just-
longer,
At least, like, yeah, longer than that.
because then Luke was born and grew up.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Well, Luke hasn't been born and grown up yet. He's still a kid.
No,
At this point,
no.
oh yeah.
He shows up in 1. Anakin makes it to Vader. Vader makes it to
I'm trying to figure out
Return of the
the
Return of the Jedi, and Vader dies.
right.
And we're post. Oh no, we're not post that. I'm
Yeah.
stupid. I'm dumb. Sorry.
Jeez, John.
I'm sorry. That's my
But
bad.
it's probably at least 20, 25 years.
It's a long time.
It's been a while since Darth Maul's been around. Is what I'm saying.
Here's the best part about 1.
So that's not saying a whole lot.
Plus, he's
Also, he wasn't the best part
to,
of 1.
to date.
The best part of 1 was the pod race.
To date,
Shut up.
he's the only one who's defeated a Jedi Master that didn't just give up.
Nobody cares.
I care.
That was the dumbest sword fight in the world.
It was a great lightsaber battle,
It
dude.
was dumb.
This is nerds fighting, everybody.
No. I enjoyed it.
That's
Right.
right.
No. No, it was a great lightsaber fight. Get the fuck out of
It
here.
was dumb.
Get the fuck out of
It
here.
Darth
was-
Maul's a stupid character.
It was good,
Shut up.
and Darth Maul.
Darth
was
Maul
just a
is
person.
not an interesting character. All he does is show up and fight some Jedi. He had no character development.
I mean, that's more George Lucas's fault than his.
That doesn't mean that he was an interesting character. Like him
It
showing
still
up
goes
in,
back to his point, though.
Whatever. They flesh him out in the cartoons.
I mean, kinda.
So fuck off.
All he does is get mad and want to kill Jedi. He doesn't really have much of a plot.
But in this movie, he's just there, and he's like, "I'm kind of upset."
And then they introduced Darth Maul's brother, Savage Opress. Not Savage Opress, Savage.
That's kind of ridiculous.
It's
But
stupid.
so Darth Maul shows up. Him and Kira are going to be partnering up pretty closely in the sequel. That
And Rey's father
Might not
is
happen.
Darth Maul.
so another thing.
doesn't make sense. It's
Another-
like 20 years. 30
Another thing
years,
that upsets me.
50 years, maybe.
She didn't have a reason to not go with Han.
Yeah, she knows she didn't.
At
Totally.
all.
Could have just left.
Yeah.
Darth Maul would have been like-
Bettany's character was dead. It's not like she had some sort of like fucking bomb device strapped to her or something.
No.
Like there was no like. Even
Unless
I don't understand what her motive is. Because I don't understand what Darth Maul's motive is. Because he
Unle-
doesn't really have a motive that's portrayed in this film.
unless there's something there is. They did allude to that she has had a very checkered past within that 3 years that they weren't together.
Right.
Uh-huh.
So something must have happened that we're supposed to find out in the next movie. That's never going to happen. That would actually make sense for all of this. Is what I got out of it.
I guess, but
Well,
like,
yeah, I get that,
Well-
but there wasn't any build up to that in this movie.
well,
That's
okay.
what I'm saying.
that's
For the
the problem.
sequel
Well, here's the
that
thing.
is
No,
coming.
she was like, it'd be one
hate
thing
it
if
when
her
movies
character.
do that.
It'd be one thing if her character was consistent with Han throughout the entire fucking thing, but they weren't.
She was.
No, she wasn't. She was like, she was DTF in that closet. Like they were like, had Woody Harrelson's character not showed up, she was like, I'm down. And then
Yes,
later
because-
on,
because
she's
those
like,
well, she
feelings
was
came
still
back.
playing into her. She wasn't going outside of her mission at that point.
She was still. And
Her
she was dealing
leaving
with
with
her.
Han would have been going outside of her mission because she was obviously reporting directly to Maul.
And,
and
there's
then-
something 3 years ago that I can excuse
no,
it.
fuck that.
I can
No,
see.
no. Anyways, yeah. So Maul's
Chalk it
gonna
all
be
up
the
to
sequel.
poor writing.
Pretty much.
And Han started the rebellion. I guess
Or the lady that is
Han
supposed.
gave her the
Han
fucking
helped start
stuff.
the rebellion.
That's stupid. That's the most fucking contrived Force thing.
So I'm not opposed to that because
I
in the
am.
books he did help the rebellion on occasion,
I don't.
but he did it as a smuggler.
begrudgingly.
I don't
yeah.
mind if he helps them for his own reasons.
Yeah.
I mind that he is
Here, take it.
He's a co-op, like
Right.
He's co-owner of the rebellion.
Because, like, in the books, he'd always be like, this is a crazy idea, but if you're going to pay me, I'll do it.
But now in movie canon, he helped start the rebellion.
And it's just like, you can't stop the Empire. But if you want this stuff and you're going to pay me, I'll get it for you.
That
That's
makes
fine.
more. That makes way more sense.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like that they're now officially he helped start it. I don't appreciate that.
Yeah, it's kind of dumb.
Also, they're alluding to. I don't even know how to say that.
Enfys Nest?
Yeah, Enfys Nest might be Mon Mothma, maybe.
Maybe, I don't know. They didn't really
Sure.
say.
She would be about the right age.
She could be. She would be the... Well, she also showed up in episode 3. I'm fairly certain.
Did she?
I think so. If not, she
Okay.
was definitely in Rogue One.
Was she?
Yes.
Okay, so those are completely. That would not make any sense.
Could.
But then it's a matter of when does this movie take place in comparison
Yeah,
to
they
when Rogue One takes
didn't
place.
really.
It's kind of vague as to where the timeline is for this.
Were they talking about Jabba?
Yes. They were definitely talking about Jabba.
That's what I thought.
Crime Lord on Tatooine?
Yeah.
Also, her hair is totally different,
Yes.
Yo, man, she could.
but it is a ginger.
Yes.
So, also no freckles.
Look, man, it's the future. They can do whatever they want, okay?
But yeah, it's really vague as to where the timeline is for this film, as to where it happens in comparison to Rogue One. Like, it obviously happens before Rogue One, but it doesn't say when before Rogue One. Because it's before the Rebellion is, like, an official thing, which means it has to happen sometime between Rebels, or before Rebels, I guess? Which I guess means that this is the first appearance of Darth Maul since Phantom Menace instead of Rebels?
Sure.
Chronologically? I don't know. It's weird.
So, I guess let's do our scores, and then I want to ask you guys something, because this is what I was upset about when we were eating. So I'm going to ask scores first. Out of 5, what are we giving it?
2.5. 2, actually. Just 2.
I'll give it a 2.5.
Because I really wanted it... Like, it had some ideas that if they had followed through on them would have been interesting, but just the way that they portrayed Han kind of ruined it for me.
He gets a 2.5 because Donald Glover did a good job. Other than that, it would have gotten a 2.
If it had been called Lando, A Star Wars Story, I'd agree.
It would have gotten a 2 had anybody else been in Lando. I wouldn't have enjoyed it.
All I'm saying is if they fuck up the Obi-Wan trilogy, I'm done.
That'd be really upsetting. Okay. Because we never did... Oh, we did. We haven't uploaded it, so I can't fucking listen to it. Do you guys remember what we gave scores for Rogue One?
No.
Does this rate higher than Rogue One?
For me, yes. Rogue One was really good, and I enjoyed that was...
Does this rate higher than Rogue One?
Oh, no.
I was about to say Sam. I was about to get upset, Sam.
No. This is lower.
This is definitely lower than Rogue One.
It was less entertaining to watch, I'll give you that.
Rogue One had flaws as well, but Rogue One also had a coherent story that tied into the rest of the universe while being self-contained.
Yeah.
They definitely said, okay, we have established things. We need to get from point A to point B.
They didn't go against established characters.
Yeah, they didn't.
And it being its own self-contained thing, until the end of the movie, you weren't sure who was going to live or die.
Yeah, we didn't.
And everybody died, and then you're like, oh, there's no more.
That was a nice turn. Was for everybody to die in Rogue One.
Yeah.
So
it was kind of a bummer. I was also still disappointed that it wasn't a Rogue Squadron movie, but that's neither here nor there.
So luckily, the comments on this post agree with what we're saying. Your favorite person from that group, and I'm not saying the names because maybe one day we'll promote on that group. And that person says Solo was a more enjoyable film than Rogue One, and the best part of Rogue One was the last 5 minutes.
Okay. Of them deciding to go to Jabba the Hutt?
No, the best part of Rogue One was the last 5 minutes.
Oh, we didn't even talk about that.
We talked about Rogue One.
No.
I mentioned Jabba. It doesn't matter.
No. The last 5 minutes was the other poker match.
Call
it poker.
Oh, yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah, that was good. I was glad that they had that.
They go back, Han notices that Lando is cheating, and then they have a good moment.
Yep.
And
also, it plays into Empire when they're bluffing, and Lando's like, come here, and he hugs them, because they do the same
thing.
thing.
Kind of the opposite, that's cool.
I didn't catch that.
You didn't?
Now that you mention it, I get it.
Really?
Yeah. Because I wasn't thinking about Empire at the time. I was just thinking about how much
you always think about Empire.
Right?
It's like his.
This is like the standard for
everything. I was too upset at how much I didn't enjoy this film.
So that person says that this was more enjoyable than Rogue One, and I don't agree with that.
Yeah, that's wrong.
That's bullshit.
At all. That's like, I don't know. Rogue One, I enjoyed.
Well, I mean, if you like Justice League more than Avengers, I guess I can understand.
So, you want to know you want me to read what he wrote about it? What his defense of it was?
Yes. I don't really give a shit.
Rogue One just didn't feel deep enough for me. Felt like it wanted to be a solid war survival flick set in the Star Wars universe, but fell short. It had plenty of fan service, but while watching it didn't make care about any of the characters at all. I mean, it's Star Wars, so it doesn't need to be deep. It's Star Wars, not Dunkirk, but still.
This is the best.
It just wasn't interesting enough.
Star Wars, not Dunkirk. Okay.
Solo was more of a solid popcorn flick for me and was more fun.
You're an idiot.
He's an idiot.
It's a really dumb statement. Also,
He also likes the Mission Impossible.
also
movies,
you
so-
you lose credit for me if you can't like just write.
Is he trying to say that it's not a good survival flick because everyone died?
I guess
Because if that's the case, I guess he's
it also
right.
wasn't trying to be a war story. It was
No.
about a covert operation to infiltrate the Empire to steal his plans.
Yeah.
That's not a war story.
Also, the actors were better at acting.
That too.
Although,
that was a
also,
lot better.
Dunkirk is about a pacifist in the war, which is a completely different story.
But right, that's what he's saying. It's not deep.
Yeah, these weren't pacifists.
Is it not deep like the DC movies?
Oh.
Because apparently
Oh.
those are deep. This person thinks so. At
They're
least.
dark.
No, they're complex too.
Oh, right, sorry. I forgot. They're dark and complex. They're like angry Rubik's Cubes.
This one's green.
Or an all black Rubik's cube.
Yes.
This one's blue and red.
Right. This one's
This one's also blue and red.
This one's midnight. This side's midnight black. This side's death black. This side's eclipse black. This side is
Vortex
new
black.
moon black. This other side is
great.
black
Darker
hole
than
black. And then yeah, sure. Last side's darker than black.
This is the best conversation.
We need to make that
So
a real
dumb.
thing.
Like, you're entirely
Entitled to your own
allowed to
opinion.
have your own opinions.
You say progressionally.
I do. Because just... I wanted to like this movie.
I was
Like, not after I saw the
So-
trailers.
Right.
When I saw the trailers, I was like, this is going to be absolute trash
Yeah.
and I'm going to hate it.
yeah.
So
And-
so yeah, real quick. So after seeing the trailers, originally you were just like, this is not going to be live up to my expectations. Only because you've had all of the previous.
Yes.
I mean, I didn't. Have
after
expectations.
watching the trailers, it lived up to the expectations that I have of it wasn't going to be particularly good, and it wasn't going to do justice to the backstory that I have of Han Solo.
I didn't have expectations because I didn't like the way the actor looked, and the brief scenes he had on, I was just kind of like, I don't know where you're trying to go with this.
Yeah.
Like, and again, had it been a fucking full heist movie, I think that would have played better. You would have had more time to explore the relationships between the characters, like
Characters
Yes.
double crossing in a heist situation is way more interesting.
because there's more at stake.
yeah, there's higher stakes.
You don't just like the because even though they worked to get that, whatever refined fuel, I don't fucking know,
Unrefined
palladium,
fuel.
whatever.
Palladium.
Even though they worked for that, like they didn't really have to work. Like,
yeah,
you know
it's
what
like
I'm
you
saying?
said, it went in a circle.
Yeah,
It started and then
they
it came
they
back.
didn't.
Also, people want to bring up the fact that Last Jedi started introducing new elements to the universe that hadn't been done before, like ships running out of fuel.
Mhm.
Fucking Han Solo just introduced hyperfuel. What
Yeah,
the fuck is
I
that?
didn't know what the fuck hyperfuel was either. I have no idea what the fuck that was.
Is that fuel that specifically powers hyperdrive? Because nobody said anything about that ever.
Also, like, can we? This is the future. Can we develop fuel that's not highly combustible and like prone to exploding and taking out an entire mountain? Like,
I was like 90% certain at this point that everything ran on batteries. So, okay.
but my point being is, right, the whole stakes thing. They didn't like Han and Chewie didn't have to toil away in a labor camp for 3 months before the plan got executed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so let's say they do that, right? Let's say Han and Chewie have to right? All of a sudden now, I was tortured for 3 months. I'm not giving this fucking fuel to anybody for
Yeah.
a stupid reason, right? Or
Also, that was definitely Kessel. And they didn't bother to... Like, the spice mines of Kessel were not interesting at all.
no.
Because the spice mines of Kessel are really interesting in the books. And there's, like, creepy spiders that live down there and kill people.
Woody Harrelson had Han.
There are crime
More or
lords
less.
that live on Kessel that run the spice mines that enslave people to work in the spice mines. Like, none of
With
this
the
came up.
spiders?
Woody Harrelson's
Yes,
wife
they
girlfriend.
do work with the spiders and get killed by them.
Woody Harrelson's wife girlfriend dies, and he's just like, meh.
Yeah. Also, Woody Harrelson was like, "Don't trust anybody. Everybody's really bad." And then he hands on a gun. Did you catch that?
Sure.
Because I was just like, "This is the worst part
Wink.
of this movie."
Don't trust anyone. Here's a gun.
But I just mean, like, you're able to develop... Look, if you do a full heist, you're able to develop Han and Chewie's relationship to kind of further cement that.
The pace would have worked a lot better too.
You're able to... Like you said, pace. You're able to work out fucking
Relationships,
Kira's
too.
motivations more. She can sneak off and have little meetings with someone or some shit.
And then you could have those flashbacks from the beginning
Yeah,
of the movie
like,
to play off of
you're
everything.
just-
It's also
You're
a shame
allowed-
that part wasn't more interesting whenever he got the gun, because that's definitely like his gun.
blaster.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now it's just a thing he got from this guy one time.
Yeah,
Also like his name.
Solo.
Yeah, I don't know. But, like, you're able to handle all those issues that you didn't address in this one. Like,
Why didn't he just call him Han Party of One?
like,
Party of 5 stuck in my head now.
like them getting the gear for the mission. Like, in Rogue One, correct me if I'm wrong, like, they didn't just say, oh, the plans, alright, we're good. It was like, we have to get this equipment, or we have, like, they had to get, there was that part where What's-His-Face got shot on the bridge, and then they had to, like, infiltrate. Like, there were multiple parts to this,
Yes, like everyone was doing things.
yeah, like, and it wasn't just, we're gonna straight shot to the plans. It was like, we have to do these objectives first before we get to the end game. Whereas in Solo, it was just like,
You know, Solo is basically just saying that it was luck of the draw that his name was Solo. His name could have been Han Alone,
Yeah.
Han Disappointment.
You're basically saying that Rogue One was a better heist movie than Solo.
yeah,
Yeah, it was.
it was a planned out thing. It was like, you could tell they were like desperate to get this to work, and it was their last
Like,
shot.
the only
Yeah.
thing that Rogue One didn't have going for it that this movie did was Lando.
Fine.
It's true.
So if they had just put Lando in Rogue One would have been the best film.
We'll see. No, but that's my problem. So the stakes weren't there. They could have done it a million different ways. And like I said, this movie isn't. See, and here's what I appreciate about you guys, and not those people.
The internet.
Like, I wouldn't say this movie is the biggest pile of fucking shit.
It's not.
Not even in just the Star Wars universe, but as a movie. Like, I gave it 2.5, which means that if you're a fan of Star Wars, you might get something out of it.
Yeah, it's
If you're not,
I think the less you know about Star Wars, the more you'll enjoy it.
yeah.
If you're
But-
watching it out of like continuity
Lando's
wise.
fun to
Yeah.
watch.
The world that they set up was interesting. A lot of the what it looks like was
Mhm.
really interesting to watch.
I'm a little sad because Tana's gonna want to see it, which means that after we see it, she's gonna want to see it, Phantom Menace, because she's gonna be like, "Who is Darth Maul?"
I thought you watched that
"God damn
already."
it." No, I specifically avoided watching the first 3 movies because I was like, we're getting ready to go see Return of the Jedi, or not Return of the Jedi, The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
So we're gonna watch everything that directly relates to that. And now I have to go back and watch that.
And then you'll
stupid
watch
movie.
number 1, and she'll want to know.
Yep.
You got to watch the prequels again, buddy.
Misa
Hooray.
think you're gonna kill yourself.
Like,
Do it.
it's the
Do
third
it.
movie isn't bad.
No, it's bad.
It's coarse and rough.
It's-
and
Like I
It's
said,
everywhere.
like I said, if you watch Clone Wars
It's
and
bad.
then you go and watch it, it has more gravity to it.
It does. It's still bad, and I don't like it.
what, Clone Wars?
I'm trying to make
No,
the best
the
out of a
third
bad
movie.
situation.
Oh, Revenge of the Sith?
Yeah,
No. Revenge of the Sith.
That's what I said.
that's what he said.
No.
Wait, what has more gravity? Sorry.
It has more gravity. The film has more gravity if you've watched all of Attack of the Clone Wars, so that you have
The
all
cartoon?
that backstory. Yeah, because most of that movie most of the show takes place between episode 2 and 3.
Oh, yeah.
So like you don't just go from episode 2 into episode 3 and suddenly it's like there's this huge backstory between Anakin and Obi-Wan,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't know where it came from.
Well, just like the rest of the movie, they tell you that they're best friends instead of showing you
yeah,
that they're best friends.
unlike if you've watched the Clone Wars, you get to see how that relationship played out.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So it makes it more impactful at the end of Revenge of the Sith when you see those two fight.
Gotcha. All in all, you won't die if you don't see this movie. You won't die
It's
if
not.
you see it.
It's not Suicide Squad.
I know, it's not award winning.
I will never fucking watch Suicide Squad again. That movie pisses me off. This movie, at least, is entertaining.
Right.
But that was an award winning film.
Anyway,
Do you think this movie deserves the drop off that it got?
Yes.
yeah.
Like 62%. Second week. I think
I
so.
honestly didn't expect it to do that well anyway, because I didn't think it was going to be that good of a film.
No.
There's also a lot of backlash from the last
Yeah,
Star
The
Wars
Last Jedi
movie.
got a lot of backlash because people are stupid, so I expected stupid people to be like, this is stupid too.
Well, look, if you're gonna be mad at a movie, be more mad at this one.
Yeah. If you want to be mad about something ruining the continuity of Star Wars, this does a whole lot more bad
Like, you
for
have
Star
you have a
Wars.
lot more ammo to say yes, this ruined Star Wars for me.
It's one thing to have established, and then when you have a sequel, not ruins it, but it like changes in a way you don't like. It's a different thing when you already have a universe already set up, and that is just messing up the entire established universe.
People were getting mad about the way that Luke is being portrayed in The Last Jedi.
and
Even though we have no grounds as to what's happened to him between Return of the Jedi and this film.
Leia.
As opposed to Solo, he is entirely changing the way that Han Solo exists in the universe.
Mhm.
And we already know how Han exists later on in the
Yeah.
universe. Why, like, if people aren't outraged about that, then they don't understand storytelling.
Most people don't.
It's just stupid.
Most people like flashy things.
Like, you know what we can do though? Since you're gonna have to watch prequels again, we can watch prequels again. Sam.
No!
And then we can do a podcast about all three of them.
I'm
straight through.
drinking so heavily that
That's
day
fine.
because
I think we should do
will
it
have
because
a lot
I want to know where
say.
you guys rate this amongst the prequels. Is it better or worse than the prequels?
I could tell you right now.
No, you shut your fucking mouth because you haven't watched them again yet. You're
I
gonna
could-
watch them again.
I watched
first
them,
one-
like, less than a year ago.
Yeah, the first one is actually serviceable
No, it's not.
as a kids movie. Actually, it's a
As
really
a-
good kids movie.
Okay,
It's a really good kids movie.
I guess.
It's really good.
It's got a bad child actor.
Well, I'm just saying.
Definitely ended up in jail. He definitely did.
Yeah.
It's a thing that happened.
I mean, he got a lot of flack.
Greg
for
Proops was in it,
I'm just saying.
if you know who that is.
We can do all Star Wars stuff. I'd really want to watch. Did you see Tartakovsky's Star Wars Clone Wars? It was like a 10-episode
Oh
miniseries.
no, I didn't.
It's what the
fucking
That's what
original.
I keep hearing.
It's really fucking good.
but it's so dated at this
No,
point.
dude, no, it holds up even now.
I think Clone Wars is better.
Not the
Really?
entirety of Clone Wars.
Not the entirety of Clone Wars, but there's also way more Clone Wars.
But what I'm saying is, like, the entirety of Clone Wars is not better
Like,
than...
Clone Wars wouldn't have existed if that short hadn't existed. Because it was based
We
off
can
of
do
that.
the Clone Wars TV show too. I don't give a fuck. But I want Sam to
Oh,
see
God,
the
that's a good
Tartakovsky
estimate.
stuff.
I'll get you a list of the movies, just the episodes you need
Yeah,
to
there's-
watch.
there's a
because
list of, like-
There's over half of the series you don't even
Yeah,
have to watch.
you don't have to watch all of it.
It's still just a lot.
You can do a Star Wars thing. You can do a Star Wars month.
It's gonna be all Star Wars all the time, and I'm gonna be in hell.
You want to do Star Trek instead?
And then I'll be in hell.
It's fine.
And we can watch all the movies again.
We could do Hellraiser, and then we'd all be in hell.
The we can do the remakes of Star Trek that I know you love so much.
The third one I'll watch over and over and over. That's
It was really good.
third one's
I really like the first one. I'm sorry.
It's fine. I can see why. It has a lot of plot point issues. The second movie, though, that's just trash.
Yeah,
Everybody,
I won't-
everybody hates
I
it.
won't watch
I
the
still
second
give
one.
the third one the award for best use of sabotage in a film ever. Because that was a really good
It
use
was a
of
really
that
good
song.
scene.
Gotcha.
It was a really good scene.
All right, so we'll close it out here. Any last comments?
Comments?
Vomits?
Comments, thoughts about the film?
I could have done a better Han Solo movie.
Yeah. It really could have been better. Like,
How come Marvel is like, yes, we are going to follow our roots, our comics, and actually make sense. But Star Wars is like, no, all of our roots and established stuff we're just going to wipe completely. And start.
Because George Lucas didn't have a hand in the Marvel Universe?
Did he have a hand in the EU stuff?
yes.
Because that's what I'm talking about.
No,
No,
he
but-
he had a pretty big part in
What
a
I'm
lot
saying,
of the
though,
extended
is
universe.
that Lucas did a whole lot to fuck up Star Wars.
He really did.
Whereas, so they were wiping
No.
the slate clean because of that. So their starting point, their launching point for Star Wars is entirely
Because
different.
a lot
from
of the
launching
Star Wars,
point
a
for
lot of the
Marvel.
Star Wars EU isn't good. Brian will tell you a lot of it is not.
They
good.
also, like, as far as I can tell, they don't really have like a major head that's keeping everything in line for Star Wars.
kind of like
I thought they did.
not like Feige, no.
Not like Feige, because Feige is very much like
you're talking about for the movies,
Yeah.
not for the.
because Feige
EU stuff.
very much keeps everything in line for the Marvel films.
That would make a lot.
They
more
don't really have that same figurehead for the Star Wars.
But
They
Brian
really
will tell
should.
you a lot of
They
the
really
Star Wars like extended universe isn't very good.
yeah,
right?
there's a lot of it that's not good. There's
Yeah.
a lot
But-
of it that ended up not being
Like,
canon.
here's
like
It's
even after
saying the same
prequel.
thing about
Well,
like
here's-
the comics.
here's the
Because there's
kind
a
of
lot of
shit-
comics that aren't good
Well,
either.
yeah.
You
the-
take the good from
The
it.
newer comics are pretty good, from what I've heard.
The Star Wars comics. I don't know. I haven't read them.
Well, I want to.
I have no desire to be attached to the expanded universe anymore. I spent enough of my time in that,
Well,
and
so
then they got rid of
here's,
it.
here's the kind of shit that Lucas would pull. Okay, so they were doing a Darth Maul game, right? They're doing a Darth Maul game, and there was another character that was like a disciple of his, but like hundreds of years in the future. Like she follows his teachings. She's I think the same race, but I think she's a disciple of
Cool.
his. And then so they're developing the game. They're making the game. Lucas comes in one day and he's like, "Those guys are friends." And then everyone kind of starts freaking out because they're like,
What do you mean?
"No, we have a story established." And he's like, "Well, I want them to be friends." And they're like, "Fuck. Like, you just took years of work that we've done, and now you're trying to say we can't do it." And that led
But
to a
this
lot
is
of
for
problems.
a game though, versus like the
But I'm
actual
saying
books.
that's the kind of stuff he would do with some of the books or some of the property.
Yeah,
he would
where
just
he would just
show
come
up.
in and be like, "Well, I want this to be the way it happens," and they'd be like, "Well, that's not the way that we had designed it at all.
And he's just like,
Like,
"Well,
we'll
do
make
it."
it work."
Where was he in the board meetings for this shit?
I don't know.
Terrible.
It was one of those things. Like, people... I think...
It's just, it's unfortunately, I think that if everybody had left it alone before Phantom Menace happened, it would have been fine. Like, if we had just ended it with Return of the Jedi, I would have been upset that I never got more of that universe, but it would have been fine. It would have just
Yeah.
been
I
its
think
own
people
little bubble.
put,
Yeah.
I think people put... Like, I'm not saying George Lucas
agree.
doesn't deserve credit for a lot. I think people put too much stock in him. After.
Yes.
That he ruined it?
No, that he was, like, a savant.
Well, like, he wasn't the driving creative force behind
No.
most of the good stuff.
and
Yeah.
and that's what I say. I think people give him too much credit.
It
Like, Kasdan, the same guy that's been working on all of the movies since they started making them again, was the one that wrote Empire Strikes Back.
But George Lucas gets all the credit, is what I'm saying. So
It's-
I think it's one of those things, and we're way off the topic now.
No,
But I think a
it's-
lot of the problems that some of the problems that we're experiencing now, like with the extended universe having to be wiped, with the kind of non-continuation or the weird like introduction of new mechanics into the universe, a lot of that might have stemmed from that. I'm not saying it's all his fault now. He doesn't have any involvement in the movies now, but I think some of the issues can be attributed to...
I just think that everybody pushing him to create the prequel trilogy is what kind of set Star Wars on the path that it's on now.
Mhm.
And now they're trying to do this course correction, but they don't have anybody steering the ship. So it's just kind of like they're throwing ideas out and seeing what sticks.
Mhm.
Which is kind of unfortunate because as a Star Wars fan, you have to suffer through some bad shit before you find out what sticks.
Yeah.
For me, The Last Jedi stuck, but everybody else seems to think it was absolute trash.
That's fine. It made lots of money, so whatever. But, alright, we'll call that one. What's the next one we're doing? Incredibles 2?
Sam's
Venom.
not watching Incredibles
y'all
2.
can do Incredibles.
Venom?
Venom.
Hotel Artemis.
I'll probably see Venom and I'll hate it.
I'll probably hate Venom. That's
Anyway.
fine. Alright, thanks for joining us, guys.
I'm so excited for Venom. I get to see another one of my childhoods.
Ruined.
Say bye.
Bye.
Bye.